Good morning to everyone. So we are in unit 3, so that is colorimeter and spectrophotometer. In that, so far we have discussed about the uh, basics of spectroscopy. After that we have discussed about Beers-Lambert's law. After that we have discussed about colorimeter and then spectrophotometer. And now today we are going to discuss about verification of Beers-Lambert law by conducting an experiment that is known as the determination of iron in water by thiocyanide method by colorimetry. So in that first, what the steps involved here? The first, what is the basic is aim, that is introduction, our aim, our object. So what we are going to do, and after that we will discuss about the equipment and material what we use, and then principle, and then procedure, and then sorry, after that how to prepare the standard solution required for this experiment, then followed by procedure, and then calculation. So these parts we are going to discuss and under this topic. Okay, so first in this method we are using thiocyanide. So why we are using thiocyanide? Why? Because the iron which is dissolved in water, that is a colorless solution. Iron in water, that is a colorless solution, but in colorimetry we need to use a colored solution. So how we can impart the color to that colorless solution? By using a reagent which can specifically reacts with our analyte. So for that purpose here we are using thiocyanide. We have different analytes, but here in this method we are using thiocyanide. So when these ferric ions are treated with a thiocyanide solution, then we can get a complex, this complex. So that complex will exert a blood red color to the solution. Okay, so this is complex. Okay, so generally this is a ammonium ferro thiocyanide complex, and this thiocyanide actually it should be taken 6 times. Okay. Next, by comparing the intensity of the color of the solution with the colors of, so here what we are doing, this colorimetry, the intensity of color of the solution, that depends on the concentration of the our analyte. So here we are preparing different intensity of colors with respect to standard solution. So that means, so by changing the concentration, the color of the solution is also going to be changed. So in that what we do, we prepare a different standard solutions of different intensities of colors with known standard solution, means with known concentration of ferric ions. The next one, biological importance. So what is the role of iron? We know that in our human body, so blood, in that blood we have hemoglobin that contains iron. So that iron carries the oxygen and takes away carbon dioxide. So that is very crucial in our respiratory circulatory system. So that transport oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. And the lack of this iron, it may cause a disease that is known as anemia. So many okay, so this is about the biological importance of iron. Okay, let's see the equipment. What equipment and instrument and material we require for this? For this, here we are using ammonium ferric ammonium sulfate. This is also known as Mohs salt, and with this we are preparing different concentration. These concentrations of solutions. Now that means standard solutions. Okay, it may be, for example, so just for idea, I given this. Later, I will discuss about how to prepare the various concentration standard solutions of various concentration. Okay, then we need to take another chemical, that is a reagent. So that is ammonium thiocyanide of 1 mole per liter concentration, and then 1 mole per liter concentration of sulfuric acid. Why? Because this here in this we have only a few ferric ions. So the whatever ferrous ions, whatever it may be present, that may be oxidized to ferric ions. For that purpose, we use sulfuric acid and also hydrochloric acid. And next, potassium permanganate solution. Okay, if this potassium permanganate solution, if required, we use, but on hand we are keeping this. And next, these are the chemicals and the instruments. So here we use 100 ml beaker, and this 100 to 100 to 50 ml, 500 ml volumetric flask, and 5 ml of pipette, measuring cylinder, and a conical flask, and then distilled water. So okay, these are the what equipment and materials required for this experiment. Okay, at least boiling tubes for preparation of standard solutions. We require the boiling tubes. Along with we use a cuvettes also and colorimeter, that is instrument. Okay, next principle. What is the principle? So this trivalent ions form a red complex with the thiocyanide ions at acidic pH or the acidic medium. The maximum absorption of this complex is situated at the wavelength of 480 nanometer. So that means if you recall the instrumentation of colorimeter, we need to in that first step is selection of, before calibration we need to select the filter. So filter can be selected depending on the color or absorption of the one analyte. So here our analyte will show the maximum absorption of 400 nanometer, 480 nanometers. Okay, so that means before our experiment we need to select the filter at 480 nanometers. Okay, let's see the equation. So when this ferric ions reacts with thiocyanates, we will get the this complex, and this is equilibrium constant. What is equilibrium constant? The concentration of products to the, it is a nothing but a ratio of concentration of the products to the concentration of reactants. As the concentration of thiocyanate increases, then what happens? It will get more and more intense color. Okay, let's see here. Since the thiocyanate ions in the denominator in the equilibrium, this in this law, the addition of more and more of thiocyanate results in more ferric ions reacting with the thiocyanate ions and give more ferric thiocyanate complex. Hence, the color intensity of the red color increases. So, when we increase the concentration of thiocyanate, what happens? It may react more with ferric ions, and then it results in this complex. As the complex concentration increases, then what happens? The color intensity also increases. Thus, the increase of concentration of thiocyanate ions shift the above equilibrium in the forward direction. So, if you recall the equilibrium law, so we can shift the forward reaction by increasing the concentration of reactants. Okay, next, according to Beats-Lambert law, so the absorption is directly proportional to the concentration of the analyte. As the concentration of analyte changes, absorption also changes. So for that purpose here, what we are doing, we are preparing various standard solution by varying the concentration. So with the help of that, by placing those standard solutions in the colorimeter, we can make it different absorptions. And by using this calibrating curve, what we do, we draw a calibrating curve. So that calibrating curve, to draw a curve, we require two variable parameters. One is absorption, second one is concentration. So here in this graph, what we do, we take the absorption on y-axis and concentration on x-axis, and then if you plot a graph, we will get a straight line passes through the origin. So, and then what we do, and next, after knowing the absorption of various standard solution, we place our sample or unknown concentrated solution or sample solution in calorimeter, and then we record absorption, and we place the absorption, we place the absorption on this what we say, this is slope. So when we place the absorption on the slope, and then what happens, if you draw if you draw a line towards the x-axis, from that point we may get the concentration of unknown concentrated solution. So that is the calibration method. By this method we can identify the concentration of unknowns or sample. Okay, so this is the principle. And next, see, this is the now for this experiment we require to prepare some standard solutions. Okay, so first we need to prepare ferric standard solution, ferric ion standard solution. For that solution, what we do, we require 3 grams of ferric ammonium sulfate, and then we need to be powdered it, and then after powdering, accurately weigh 2.41 of that powder and transfer into the 100 ml of beaker, and after that add 20 ml of 1 ml concentrated sulfuric acid. Leave the powder to soak in acid overnight. So after addition of this 20 ml, what we do, we keep aside for overnight, and thereby what happens is the ferric salt will soak the sulfuric acid, and then the next day what we do, we pour the powder slurry into the 50 ml volumetric flask and rinse the beaker into the flask a few times with water. So before transferring this, what we do, we rinse the volumetric flask with water, then make up it to the distilled water and let the solution stand for several days until the ferric ammonium sulfate powder has fully dissolved. And so actually what happened, this ferric ammonium sulfate is less soluble in water. So that's what we do after transferring this soaked ferric sulfate in sulfuric acid, that is transferred into 100 ml flask, and then what we do, we make up that volumetric flask up to the mark, and we need to be left for few days. If you want to dissolve instantly or fastly, then what we can keep it on magnetic stirred, so thereby what happens is the ferric ammonium sulfate will be dissolved very fastly. So this is the Stark solution. So this is the preparation of Stark solution, the ferric ion solution. Now with the help of this ferric ion solution, now what we do, we can prepare the various concentration of standard solution. So let's see, this concentration of the so far prepared solution is 0.001, that is nothing but 1 millimole. And to prepare 2 millimole, that how we can prepare, so just prepare to 10 ml of 1 millimole and transfer into the 500 ml of water metric flask. So we can get this 2 millimoles of ferric ion concentrated solution. So like that manner we prepare various concentration of the solution. So I will show you how to prepare various concentration of solution in next step. Then after that prepare ammonium thiocyanate. So weigh 38 grams of solid ammonium thiocyanate and transfer into the 500 ml volumetric flask, and then dissolve. How? By adding little amount of distilled water and shake it vigorously. So by doing or by repeating the such 2 or 3 times, what happens, the whole ammonium sulfate will be dissolved in water. After complete dissolution of ammonium thiocyanate in water, then you need to be make up the volumetric flask up to the mark with the help of distilled water. So thereby we can prepare 1 mole of ammonium thiosulfate. Okay, so up to now we have discussed about the preparation of solutions and what chemicals we required and what instrument we require in this experiment. Next, see the procedure. So how to execute? So how we can execute? So for that purpose, what we do? Let's uh, okay, look at this table. So for that purpose, we need to prepare various concentration of standard solutions of ferric ammonium sulfate. So ferric ammonium sulfate, various concentration of standard solution we need to be prepared. So for that purpose, first what we do, we need to be take 6 or 8 or depending on our availability. So generally we use 10 boiling tubes, and then those to be labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then so what we do, so first we prepared a standard solution of concentration of 0.0001. Okay, so that can be converted into the 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5. Okay, so by dilution, so for dilution that is known as a dilution. So conversion of 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 solution into 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5. So how m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2. So m1 is 10 to the power of minus 3 and v1 is the volume, how much volume we take that one. So for example 10, 20, 50, whatever it may be. And then m2 is the concentration, 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5, and v2 we need to be find out. So by substituting those values in m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2, we may get v2 value. So v2 is the volume of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5. To prepare 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 solution, how much water to be added? So how much water to be added? So we can get that by subtracting v2 minus v1. So thereby we can get the amount of water required to prepare the 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 solution from the 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3. So by that manner, we prepare this standard solution. Okay, into a beaker, volumetric flask or beaker. Now take boiling tubes of various boiling tube and label those as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Now the first we prepared a solution. Second solution, how? By following m1 v1 is equal to m2 v2 formula, we have prepared a solution of concentration of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5. So now you take 10 ml of that solution into a boiling tube one. Okay, so then add how much volume of concentrated sulfuric acid will be added. 1 ml you need to be added. Okay, so by that manner we prepared this one. And next, already we have added H2 sulfuric acid. If you require, you can add. Otherwise, no need to be adding of this one. Okay, so just for any one test tube, you first test tube. That one is labeled as one. In that we need to be take how much 10 ml of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 ferric sulfate solution. Next is label 2 second boiling tube. Take 9 ml of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 so concentrated solution, and to that add 1 ml of water. So after adding 1 ml, what happens? Overall volume of that solution may become 10, either 10 if you are avoiding this one sulfuric acid, then the total volume of that solution may be 10, and then the concentration will be decreased. How much? It may be comes out as 1.8 into 10 to the power of minus 5. And next take another third boiling tube. That one is labeled as 3, and in that take 8 ml of 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 concentrated solution, and to that add 2 ml of distilled water. So thereby we can get this one. So by following this method we can prepare this much concentrated solution. If you want to prepare further, you can continue this process. Okay, so not here, see, not minus 6, actually it is 6 ml of water. Okay, so by that manner we prepare different concentrated solution, and those be taken into the this labeled boiling tubes. And last the boiling tube, what we take the sample solution. So by that manner we prepare various concentrated of solutions. Okay, next after that what we, so this is whole thing. Okay, now the after preparation of this various concentrated of standard solution along with sample, next what we do, we need to be calibrate our instrument. So how we calibrate this instrument? So before calibrating, we need to be select the filter of that calorimeter at where to 480. Why? Because this red colored solution shows the maximum wavelength absorption of wavelength around of 890 480 nanometers of wavelength radiation will be observed strongly by this red color solution. Now calibration we need to do. So how we do the calibration? After selecting the filter, what we do, uh, we place distilled water in a cuvette chamber, and then we set the absorbance as 0. So after before this what we need to do, so first before this selecting the filter, we need to be switch on the instrument and left for 10 minutes. And so during that meanwhile what happened, that instrument will be properly heated. So once it is properly heated, we can get the accurate or correct values. Okay, first preparation, various concentrated of solutions should be prepared, and then we need to be switch on the instrument and left for 10 minutes. After that, third step is selecting the filter, and fourth step is the calibration. So how we calibrate? For that calibration, we need to be place the distilled water in cuvette chamber, and then select the absorbance as a 0. Why? Because our solvent should not absorb the any light radiation, only analyte to be observed. And then run the experiment. So how we run the experiment? So first what we take few the labeled well solution, we transfer labeled one boiling tube solution into the cuvette, and we insert that cuvette in cuvette holder, and then we read the absorbance. We note down the absorbance against the concentration of that solution. So by that manner, we take this, and then we take second boiling tube solution, and then note down. So by that, by repeating, all 7 solutions will be absorbance will be noted down. And then last what we do, and last step, the sample solution will be transferred into the cuvette, and then we record absorbance. We don't know the concentration. Okay, so this is the experiment. After that, what we do, calculation. So first we need to be draw a calibrating curve. So y-axis we need to be take absorbance, and x-axis we need to be take concentration. So after spotting the values, we may get a slope which is a straight line origin from the straight line origin from the point, a straight line from origin. We may get a graph, a straight line from origin like that. And after placing the absorbance and concentration of the standard solution, and last we have what, only absorbance, we don't have concentration. So that absorbance value we So this calibrating curve should be extended up to this like that, like that. So depending on the value of our sample solution. Okay. So if absorbance is lies within the range, then no need to be extended. If your absorbance is sample absorbance is somewhat higher than this one, first one, then you need to be extra plot or extend this graph. So and then what we do, so some around it maybe from here 0.8, consider this point as a 0.8 observance. Then what we do, we try from 0.8, we put a mark on this graph curve, what is it, slope. So like that. Now next, what we do, next step, we draw a line toward the x-axis from that intersect point. Okay, what happens, that line will intercept the concentration, and that x-axis it may be intercepted or cut the somewhat around the value, and that value is known as the concentration of unknown solution. So by that manner, we can identify the concentration of iron present in water. Okay, so this is the calculation part. Okay, in that calculation, what we had done, so using only observance results obtained of your ferric standard solutions, and prepare a graph like that, yeah, as horizontal axis. Okay, and next draw the line and best fit for your data. So it will now identify the point of your line of the best fit, the corresponding to the observed result of your unknown sample. So by drawing the vertical line towards horizontal line, so this is horizontal line. The horizontal line means concentration. So from that point we draw a line towards horizontal line. So line, you will be able to determine the concentration of ferric ions of unknown solution. So this is the procedure of colorimetry. Okay, so by that manner, what happens, how we verify the justify or verify the Beers-Lambertla. So as the concentration of here, see, as the concentration, since the concentration is absorbance A is directly proportional to the concentration. So from 1 to 7, what happens, the concentration decreases, then what happens, absorption also decreases. If so, that means we verified the Beers-Lambertla. If absorbance increases irrespective of the concentration, our concentration decreases. If your absorbance somewhere it is increased, that means your experiment is wrong. So throughout this experiment, from here to here, your absorbance should be decreases. Why? Because according to Beers-Lambertla, absorbance is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution. So from 1 to 7, the concentration of our standard solution is decreases, so that our absorbance should also be decreased. Okay, so by that manner we have verified uh, Beers-Lambertla as well as determination of iron in water sample by thiocyanate. We have determined this. Okay, so this is colorimetry experiment. Okay, just a recap what we have so far discussed. So introduction. So what happens if ferric ions to ferric ions in water is a colorless solution. So colorless solutions cannot be used in colorimetry. So we need to be impart the color to that solution. So how we can impart this color to this solution? By using thiocyanate. So this is the thiocyanate reagent. So that reagent reacts with iron or ferric ions and impart red blue color. Okay. So, and next, what is the biological importance? We know that. Mm. And next instrument. So for that process, we need to use these three solutions, particularly first three solutions we use. And if else if required, we use this one. So potassium permanganate may not be used for the calibration purpose. You can use the potassium permanganate solution. Okay, so but we don't use this one. So in this our experiment, we require ferric ammonium sulfate and ammonium thiocyanate and sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid, whatever it may be, to acidify to maintain the pH conditions, acidic pH conditions. Under acidic pH conditions only, this ferric ions will be reacted with the thiocyanate to give a complex of blood red color. Okay, under acidic medium only. So to maintain that acidic medium, we require either sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid. So that's choice. Okay, so no need of this potassium permanganate solution. And this is about the chemicals and instruments. Obviously colorimeter, and then beakers, volumetric flask, measuring jars, and boiling tubes. The principle. So it is a very important. This trivalent ferric ions will react with the thiocyanate and give a complex ion uh, thiocyanide complex ion which impart blue color, red blood color, and this thiocyanide complex will show the maximum absorbance of the wavelength of 480. So maximum absorption of the complex is situated at this wavelength. And next, write a equilibrium constant. And what is equilibrium constant? It is a ratio of concentration of protective to the concentration of reactant. So as the concentration of thiocyanide increases, what happened? The reaction is pushed towards a forward reaction. So thereby the concentration of ferric ion increases. As the concentration of this complex increases, the intensity of color also increases. Okay. Next, just recall the Beers-Lambert law. What is Beers-Lambert law? In short, the absorbance is directly proportional to the concentration of the solution. Okay, remaining parameters are here we maintain as constant. Okay, so since after maintaining remaining parameters as constant, then absorption only depends on the concentration, that to be directly proportional. As the concentration increases, absorbance also increases, or as the concentration decreases, our absorption also be decrease. And next, with the help of calibrating curve. And what is curve? So curve means nothing but a graph. To plot a graph, we require two parameters. One is absorption and second one is concentration. And one to be taken on y-axis, another to be taken on x-axis. Which should be taken on y-axis? Absorbance to be taken on y-axis and concentration to be taken on x-axis. So then we, after placing these values, we may get a slope as a straight line coming from the origin. Okay. So next, with the help of that, we will identify that concentration of unknown or sample. So this is the principle. And next procedure. So in that procedure, so first before going to the execution or procedure, we need to prepare starter solution of ferric sulfate solution, and preparation of ammonium thiocyanide, and then concentrated 1 ml sulfuric acid and 1 ml hydrochloric acid. So uh, okay, those can be available. So this is a stock solution. So how to prepare this stock solution. So this is the explanation of um, preparation of stock solution. And next, how we can convert this one. Next, by using this one, we prepared 1 millimole of concentrate 1 millimole concentrated ferric ion solution, and from that we need to prepare how much? 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 concentrated solution. So how we can prepare? So just by taking 20 ml of this solution, and that one is transferred into the volume 500 ml of volumetric flask, and that will be make up to this mark. Thereby we can we get how much? 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 standard uh, ferric ion solution. And next procedure, this is the procedure. So for that procedure we need to follow this one. So it is our choice. So generally we supposed to not take this one. Better to exclude this column. Okay. Okay, just one serial number, volume of standard ferric ion solution, volume of water, concentration of resultant solution, and absorbance. These five columns enough. No need to be take this one. Okay, so for this experiment, we need to prepare different concentrated standard solution of ferric ion. So different concentrated ferric ion solutions. So those are known as the standard solution. Okay, so already we have prepared 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 concentrated solution. And for now to prepare various, we need to be take various boiling tubes, and those boiling tube be labeled as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., etc. Okay, so that's your choice. You can take 20 or 25 now, no problem. Okay. Okay. So 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5 concentrated solution. So first boiling tube, so which one is labeled as 1, in that we need to be take 10 ml of this concentrated solution, and the solution concentration of that solution is this one. And next, second labeled boiling tube, 9 ml of this concentrated solution, this much of concentrated solution to be taken. To that we need to be add 1 ml. So resulted solution concentration is 1.8. And to prepare this one, take 8 ml of this concentrated solution, and to that add 2 ml of water. Thereby we can get this one. So by that manner, 7, 3 we will get this one. 6 ml and 4 ml of water, we will get this one. So actually 10 to the power of minus 5, it is 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 5, and 5 ml of standard solution. This 2 into 10 to the power of minus 5, 5 ml of standard solution. To that if we add 5 ml, then we get this much of concentrated solution, 5 ml of standard solution. So that not minus 6, actually it is 6 ml of distilled water, we will get this one. So in last test tube, which one is labeled as 8. In that, what we take sample. What is sample? Unknown concentrated solution. Okay, so we need to prepare various concentrated of solutions like that. After that, what we need to do? We need to calibrate. First, we need to select the. Okay, we need to on our instrument. So when we on this instrument and keep aside for 10 minutes, thereby what happens? If properly heated, all instruments will be properly heated. So once the all instruments are components of that instrument heated properly, then only we can get the accurate readings. So for that purpose, what we are doing, we need to switch on the instrument and left for 10 minutes. After that, you need to be select the filter. So selection of the filter again depends on the color of our solution. So on that instrument, you may have the different wavelengths against the color. So depending on that color, we can or we need to be selecting filter. For our blood red, how much wavelength we need to be select 480? Why? Because our blood red color will show maximum absorption of 480 nanometers of the wavelength of the radiation. Okay, and then second and third step is calibration. So how we can calibrate? For what we need to be calibrate? So we ensure that absorbance should be 0. So that means our solvent as well as reagent is not absorbing any light. Only our analyte is absorbing light. So to ensure that, we need to be calibrate our instrument. So for calibration, what we do? So we take a distilled water along with some reagent containing distilled water, and we place in the cuvette tube, and we adjust the absorbance as 0. So thereby what happens? The uh, absorption, how much? A 0 reading we will get. So that means our instrument is now ensure that our distilled water as well as our reagent is not going to absorb any light radiation. So which will absorb in radiation, only our analyte will absorb the radiation. And next, how to execute this experiment? How we execute the experiment after calibration? What we do? We transfer first labeled solution, this much of concentrated solution to cuvette, and then we place that cuvette into the colorimeter, and our display will show the absorbance. That absorbance will be recorded or noted down against this concentration. And next, while you are inserting the cuvette in cuvette holder or sample holder, so you make sure that that cuvette should not have any at the surface of the cuvette, should not have any even our finger impressions also. So or any water spill, your solution should not spill over that water. So to that, what we need to take? So we need to take somewhat less to level of the less just below the level of our cuvette solution to be transferred, just level below the level of the cuvette, and then we wrap that cuvette with a cotton or any what we say filter paper, so thereby we can make sure that no impressions or any impurities present on it. If any impressions or impurity present on that, what happens? The light distance traveled by the light, that is a L, that may be vary. So if that vary, absorption also changes. So to avoid that, we need to be wrap before inserting cuvette in the sample holder. We need to be wrap the cuvette. After wrapping, we have to place it. So by placing like that, by placing the various solutions up to 7, we record the absorbance, and we can find a trend that we find one type of we find that as so here see in this column, the concentration of the solutions decreases. So that means the trend of absorbance also be decreased. So by if our absorbance is decreased along with concentration, so that indicates what we justify the Beers-Lambert law. And next last, what we do? We place the sample solution, and we don't know the concentration, just we can record what absorbance. Now with the by using these values, these two column values, after this we plot a graph. So by taking absorption on y-axis and concentration as x-axis, so we may get a slope, which is the origin of the slope is from the point, and we may get a straight line. And the value of this sample, last column, this absorbance value. So according to the value, we place on this wall this what is slope, and then from that intersect point, we draw a vertical line toward the horizontal or x-axis. So what happens? It may intersect, and by using that, with the help of that value, we can find the concentration of unknown ferric ion solution. So this is our experiment. What is a determination of iron in water by using thiocyanate as a reagent by colorimetry, and meanwhile we verified the Beats-Lambert law. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Okay, so next class we will discuss about the applications of spectrometer. So what are the applications we are going to be discuss are estimation of chromium and manganese in steel. What is steel? Steel is nothing but an alloy of iron and carbon. So that iron and carbon alloy may have iron, chromium or manganese. So how much amount of chromium or how much amount of manganese is present in that steel alloy is identified by using spectrophotometer. So under the application of spectrophotometer, we will so by using this spectrophotometer, double beam spectrophotometer, we will estimate the amount of chromium as well as manganese present in steel sample. Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss about that. Okay, so I hope you understood this. Okay, so thank you.